The episode begins with the main protagonist's name Shiki Tsubasa, moving from Tokyo to Hokkaido. While on his way, his father messages him, apologizing that he can't pick him up due to having a lot of work. Shiki responds to his dad, saying it's okay. As he looks out the window and realizes he's close to his destination, Shiki asks the driver to stop so he can start walking. On the way he meets a beautiful girl named Fuyuki. He is surprised to see her bare-legged and doesn't even have a heavy jacket on when it is this cold. He then goes to her and asks her for directions, only to surprise to find out that by walking, it will take him 3 hours to reach his destination. He then planned to call another taxi, only to learn that he'll have to wait at least half an hour. Seeing he is getting depressed, Fuyuki then suggests that he should join her on the upcoming bus since it is going to take him to his destination anyway. Shiki agrees and waits. Fuyuki then asks him where he's from. When she learns he's from Tokyo, she gets excited and wonders why he moved here since, to her, this town seems pretty average compared to Tokyo. Hearing this, Shiki disagrees, saying he actually likes this town and finds it relaxing. After that, Fuyuki asks Shiki how old is he. After knowing, he is the same age and going to the same school as her. Fuyuki then starts to cling on to him, which makes Shiki blush. See, this is how to get a girl. Just tell her you are from Tokyo. While they waited, Fuyuki starts to feel cold and her nose starts running. Seeing this, Shiki gives her a tissue and feels happy because he's never even talked to a girl like this before. After that, Fuyuki starts to play around with Shiki. As she laughing, Shiki looks at her and end up calling her pretty without realizing it. Fuyuki then blush and tell him to cut the crap. The bus then pulls up shortly after, and Fuyuki boards it. However, Shiki is so preoccupied with his thoughts that he forgets to board the bus. The next day at school, Fuyuki is thrilled to find out that Shiki is in her class. She keeps teasing him by calling him by his first name, which leaves Shiki speechless. To him, only his family and close friends have ever used his first name. Later in class, Shiki starts feeling cold. He notices that everyone else in the class has jackets and blankets on. Luckily, Fuyuki sees this and lends him her blanket. At first, Shiki hesitates to take it, but she assures him it's okay since she always carries 2 blankets as she gets cold easily. As Shiki uses the blanket lent by Fuyuki, his imagination starts to run wild because it's still warm from Fuyuki's body. After class, Shiki returns the blanket to Fuyuki. And for some reason, when she receives it, she immediately smells it and teases him by saying it smells like both of them together. Then, as a thank you for lending him the blanket, she tells him to walk home with her. On the way, Fuyuki asks Shiki if he has a girlfriend. Shiki immediately denies it, which makes Fuyuki laugh. After walking her to the bus stop, Fuyuki then invites Shiki to come over to her place tomorrow. He then starts to have a panic attack, but she reassures him that she just wants to ask him more about Tokyo and stuff. After that, they exchange contact before part way. The next day, Shiki is feeling pretty nervous about going to Fuyuki's house. Just when he thinks things couldn't get any more nerve-wracking, she drops the bombshell that her parents aren't home today. Seeing his nervousness, Fuyuki starts teasing him even more by playfully touching him with her feet and asking what they should do. To add to the awkwardness, Fuyuki accidentally spills a drink on herself while pouring, forcing her to change clothes. This leaves Shiki struggling to keep his composure, especially when he sees how revealing her new outfit is. Luckily, Shiki comes up with a solution by suggesting they watch a movie together, providing a welcome distraction. While watching the movie later on, Shiki notices that Fuyuki has already fallen asleep. Seeing her vulnerable state, Shiki starts to feel upset, wondering if she doesn't see him as a guy, since who would fall asleep dressed like that with a guy around? After some time passes, Fuyuki wakes up, realizing she's been asleep the whole time, leaving Shiki to watch the movie alone. Fuyuki feels a bit guilty about it, but before she can say anything, Shiki tells her he has to leave because it's getting dark. The episode ends with Shiki walking home when suddenly Fuyuki comes running, apologizing for what happened. Shiki, seeming doesn't care at all, he then rushes toward her and wraps his scarf around her to keep her warm. Fuyuki blushes and takes his hand, asking him to come with her to the mart because she wants to treat him as an apology. Hokkaido gals are super adorable. Episode 2 opens with Fuyuki taking a photo of herself with a snowman. Later, at school, she sees Shiki looking at a winter festival advertisement. She then asks him if he's interested. He tells her it's this weekend, so he thought it might be worth checking out. Hearing this, Fuyuki smiles and tells him that if he insists, then she guesses she could go with him. Shiki then shocked, asking himself, does that mean a date? In the evening, during dinner with her family, her mother asks if she wants to go somewhere since tomorrow is a day off, but she declines, saying she's going to the winter festival with a friend. Hearing this, her mother smiles, recalling how Fuyuki used to go in elementary school. Hearing this makes Fuyuki feel concerned. She then looks at the advertisement again. The next day, Shiki can't believe they're actually going to the festival together. He keeps looking at the message and the photo she sent him. When Fuyuki arrives, Shiki is stunned by how beautiful she is, that he can't even look at her properly. He realizes that her choice of wearing less revealing clothes is even sexier than he had imagined. As they explore the festival, Fuyuki starts to worry that Shiki might be disappointed because it's not like Tokyo. Well, to her surprise, Shiki is actually enjoying it. While walking, Shiki suddenly wants to eat a corn dog. After buying one, Fuyuki asks if she can have a bite. Shiki agrees. After he feeds her the corn dog, Shiki starts hesitating to eat it because he sees it as an indirect kiss. He then tries to gather his courage and takes a bite. Seeing how Shiki having a hard time taking a bite, Fuyuki then makes fun of him by saying she wishes everyone was as easy to read as him. After that, they're both having a great time. Later, Fuyuki asks Shiki if he's having a great time. He opens up to her, mentioning that he's only ever lived in Tokyo, so this experience is new to him. He then tells her he is having so much fun and thanks her for coming with him today. Fuyuki then blushed and told him she was actually a little worried about today because the last time she came to the festival was when she was in elementary school. She had fun back then, but she wasn't sure if it would still be enjoyable now. She was concerned that Shiki would be disappointed, but as it turns out, she didn't need to worry at all. She then tells him that when she's with him, he makes her appreciate this town even more. She remembers how nice this town really is. Seeing Shiki have fun here makes her happy, so she's glad she came with him. After finishing talking, Fuyuki accidentally slips and falls to the ground but is saved by Shiki. They both then started to feel embarrassed. On the way back, Shiki asks Fuyuki if she is okay with it, they can go out again somewhere together. Fuyuki then tries to tease him by saying is he that desperate to hang out with her again? The next day, during lunchtime, Fuyuki bought some local food for Shiki because she knew he would love it. Shiki was touched that she did this for him. Afterwards, Fuyuki tried to feed Shiki the food. As soon as he tasted it, he immediately loved it. Then, Fuyuki asked what was in Shiki's bento. The moment that she saw it, she was amazed by the food Shiki was eating and even tried to take a picture of it. Upon seeing this, Shiki then offered to share his food with her, which made Fuyuki really happy. She then asked Shiki who made the food, and he told her it was his grandmother. After they finished eating, Shiki told Fuyuki that everything felt like a new experience with her. Hearing this made Fuyuki confused, so she asked him what he meant by that. Upon learning that Shiki had never gone to a festival with a friend or shopped at a convenience store before, Fuyuki started to wonder if Shiki was really a spoiled rich kid. Shiki then told her he doesn't think his family is very rich, but Fuyuki didn't believe him and asked if she could come over to his place that day. Of course, Shiki couldn't refuse her. On the way to his house, Fuyuki saw a snow fort and immediately went inside it, grabbing Shiki's hand and dragging him along. While inside the snow fort, for some reason, Fuyuki started making a weird noise, which awakened something inside Shiki. I swear she doing that on purpose. Luckily, before anything could happen, his grandma came and saw them, asking Shiki what in the heavens was he doing in there. As things couldn't get any worse, Fuyuki comes and grabs Shiki's arm saying he was way too quick. He should have enjoyed his first time more. After finding out that the old lady is Shiki's grandma, Fuyuki introduces herself and praises her delicious food. Surprised, Shiki's grandma asks about Fuyuki's relationship to Shiki. Before Fuyuki can respond, Shiki says they're just classmates, which makes Fuyuki feel a bit upset. Then, Shiki's grandma informs Fuyuki that she and Shiki have an important appointment and need to leave immediately. After bidding farewell to Fuyuki, Shiki thinks to himself that he knew it was never going to work out. He feels powerless against his grandma. To him, it seems like his grandma isn't like Fuyuki at all. She hates it when people act really open in relationships. Fortunately, Fuyuki stopped them and told his grandma that she shouldn't use an umbrella because if she slip and fall when her hands aren't free, she could get badly hurt. She knew this because her grandma broke a bone like that a long time ago. As for the snow, Fuyuki assured her there was no need to worry since she could easily brush it off. Afterward, Fuyuki asks Shiki for directions to his place. Upon learning that, she suggests they should follow her instead, as she knows a safer and quicker route. She then tries to help carry the grandma's things. When the grandma tries to refuse, she tells her she should take care of her hand since she makes such delicious food. As she is about to lead the way, Shiki stops her and tells her he'll carry that. He then asks her if she's upset about something. She replies, asking why she would get upset at someone who is just a classmate. Realizing his mistake, Shiki tells her that it is hard for him to say it in front of his grandma. But the truth is he actually thinks of her as a very important friend. The episode ended with Fuyuki arriving at Shiki's house and feeling disbelief at what she saw. Just as she's about to leave, Shiki's grandma changes her mind and invites Fuyuki inside. Initially, the grandma starts to like Fuyuki, but later, regrets it when she sees how carefree Fuyuki is. If you watched this far, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos like this. Thank